What I design, I can only design when I'm in the mood, relax with myself, and quite often that means I wake up in the middle of the night and I'll go downstairs and just draw lots and lots of sketches, ready to talk to my pattern maker in the morning about what I've just done. This particular example is actually my very first design that I ever drew, and it was a very simple design for a man, basically. And the thing that made me think about it in the night was that I wanted this flat bridge without any outset bump on it. So in the morning then, I go to the pattern maker and he transfers this idea that I've got into a more technical drawing. And we'll go downstairs and I'll show you the process from the sketch right through to a finished frame. This is the slab which we just cut on the machine, and now we have to transpose this drawing, technical drawing, onto the plastic so that Brian can cut the shape out. We drilled a hole in the eye so that he can put the fret saw into the frame, what is going to be the frame, and he'll now cut the eye shape out once he's tightened the saw blade. As you can see, you've got to have a steady hand for this so that you don't go beyond the line of the drawing. Now this machine's got a special tool on it which will put a V groove into the plastic on the inside of the eye, which allows the lenses to be held in place. So what Brian is doing is just painting on a bit of acetone onto the plastic where the nose pads are going to sit. And then this will dry, has to cure, preferably overnight, but you need to leave it for a minimum of 4 hours, so in order to get a good bond. And very important to use tweezers to put them on, because otherwise you could stick your fingers to the acetate. You do also dip the pad into the acetone, and then the two, when they press together, form a bond. So we're just lining these up. And when he's happy with that, it will just be put to one side in order to cure. Now the technical term for what he's doing is filing out the crest, which is the shaping and the angling of the way the file is going through the plastic. That's what creates the comfort on the nose. So that's just putting on the polish, which takes off the scratches. This is the final polish on the front. If you like, just run your finger across that, you'll see how beautifully smooth that is. And that is very, very important, because it's got to look right, and a high gloss on a frame makes it look expensive and feel expensive. So we've done that on both sides here, and smoothed all round by the pads. And now the next stage will be to fit the joint, which is going to go into the front here, ready to take the side pieces. So here it's just lining up with what we call a datum rule to get the positioning for the joints where he's going to drill the holes to fit the joint. This is an electric tool which just marks the holes ready for drilling. Right, well now we're going to, with a very fine drill the holes in order to put the pins through the joint and secure them to the front. So, a little noisy, but here we go. Brian's now just taking off the excess plastic that's been created through drilling the holes through the plastic. And once he's happy with that, it goes in through the front hole, in through the joint. And there are so many different size rivets, it all depends on the size of the joint that we're using as to the rivets that we're doing. Very simple machine, but it serves the purpose. It will then, without too much effort, Brian will be able to just press down on the handle and that'll push the rivet into place, into the plastic, and he'll then be able to finish it off. This is an original stamping machine that we used back in 1965, and it has a heater element here, which then sends the heat through to the block down here. Now the metal plate is hot, and we pull the handle down, and the transfer of the gold goes into the plastic. And now we have the finished printing. Here we are just fitting the side to the front, and then with a steady hand and a pair of tweezers we'll put the screw into the joint, which will then be screwed down. Now we're just going to check now that the frame is set up correctly and whether it needs any adjustments with a frame heater. The way we checked up in the 60s, 1965, if a frame was set up, you lay it down on its back like this, and both the sides at the bend must be touching the table, the flat surface. In this particular case, it is just moving very, very slightly, as you can just see here. And so we just have to adjust one of the sides and then check it again. You do this on a frame heater, and the reason is that if they're not adjusted exactly right, when the patient puts the frame on in the optician's shop, then it will be not sitting on his or her face comfortably. So here we have the finished frame, which I've called RIP, which started out as a piece of plastic like this and has ended up as a frame. The process takes normally around 2 days to complete a handmade frame, and I would like to thank you very much for visiting the Oliver Goldsmith workshop and learning about the making of a handmade frame. Thank you.